What's up guys, Nick here. Today we are going to be reviewing the UHURU UM-900 USB podcasting microphone kit. Now what's special about this microphone is 24-bit, but it records in 192 kilohertz, which at this price point is very good. So we're going to be talking about this microphone today. Now full disclosure, this was sent to me, so huge thank you to the people over at UHURU for sending this over. But let's get into the review. So here we are recording in Audacity with the audio levels because I've heard this is the best program to use and it also has a lot of features for editing. But this is the first test with this microphone, so I am going to open up text edit. We're just going to type a little bit so that way you can hear how the keyboard sounds in the background. So first, what comes in the box? I mentioned this was a whole kit. So obviously we got the microphone itself, but we also have a mic arm. It comes with a pretty hefty clamp because my last one actually bent because of how many times I had to tighten it down. But this one's much thicker, so I don't really think it'll do that. It comes with a pop filter, a shock mount to absorb any vibrations that might affect your sound recording, another foam filter that I'm actually using right now. Obviously I can't clamp the pop filter onto my boom pole and have it not be in frame. And we have the cable to actually connect it to the computer. So let's talk about those numbers I mentioned in the beginning. 24-bit, 192 kilohertz. What do they actually mean? Before I go any further, there is a YouTube video I actually watched that went into further detail about this. Now, link that in the description below if you guys want to go check that out and learn for yourselves. But the bit is actually how much information it captures. The way the guy described it was the resolution. So the higher the bit, the more details it'll be in the audio that you're actually recording. So essentially a 16-bit microphone won't be able to capture as much and it might not sound as good as a 24-bit microphone. Now, the sample rate is at 192 kilohertz. This is essentially how many times per second the software actually captures the information and converts it into a digital file. So obviously the higher that number is, the more information per second is being captured. One thing to note, standard MP3 files can only handle about 48 kilohertz, but since this microphone can record much higher than that, I actually recorded it in 192 and then exported it down to 48. What I actually noticed, when I record it in the full 192 and then export it down to 48, it actually sounds better than if I natively record it to 48 and then export it in 48. Now this is something you never notice in a YouTube video because after it goes through Final Cut's compression and then YouTube's compression, it'll pretty much sound the same anyway. Now I think this is because initially I was capturing everything this microphone had and then it digitally went through the process to down convert it to 48. So there's still technically more information there, but it just had to be downsized to fit into that MP3 file format. So before we start talking about quality, I want to compare it to the Blue Snowball Ice and the Fifine K037B wireless lavalier system. Some quick specs before we get into it. The Blue Snowball is a 44.1 kilohertz 16-bit microphone, and the wireless lavalier system, I couldn't find the amount of bits that it captured, but it is a 48 kilohertz microphone as well. So this is what the Blue Snowball Ice sounds like. This is around the same price point, but this is not 192 kilohertz. And here we are with the wireless lavalier system. Now obviously this is a completely different class of microphone, so it's not really fair to compare, but it's interesting to see. So after comparing the three, I have to say this microphone definitely sounds better. I have to say it's because it captures more information, so it just sounds fuller. Compared to this one, the other two almost sounded flat. My voice didn't have any depth to it. The dynamic range from this microphone, from capturing all the way up in the high pitches of a voice to the bass, it sounds like it's more even, and everything about it just sounds so much more detailed. So for $70, you're getting a full kit, and you're also getting a microphone that can capture great quality sound with a lot of information packed into it. So compared to something like the Blue Snowball, which is $20 less, but it doesn't capture nearly as much information compared to this one, and you don't get any accessories but the cable and a stand. So I definitely recommend going with something like this because you have that full kit so you can get started right away, and it also sounds better. Another thing I noticed that I can kind of attribute to the higher information being captured is we've all been there. We accidentally have our audio levels a little too high, so things might get distorted. Well, this microphone, I noticed that if they did get distorted, it wasn't as bad. It was still kind of unusable. It wasn't something that's crazy. Compared to the Blue Snowball, it doesn't really sound that good. It's definitely not usable at all. So to get more specific, this is a cardioid microphone. What that means is it captures audio from a specific point and rejects everything around it. And you heard the keyboard test in the beginning. I mean, I have a ridiculously loud keyboard, and as I was typing away with it, you can definitely hear it, but it wasn't that loud. It was tolerable when you're gaming or something like that. And when I was setting it up on the boom pole, I had it slightly turned the wrong way, and instantly it sounded muffled. It was quiet. Obviously, sound rejection's a win because it focuses on your voice and whatever's in front of it. So now I'll talk about build quality with all these components that came with it. The mic arm itself is very sturdy. It can easily handle the weight of this thing because it's not that heavy of a microphone. And as I said, the old clamp I have literally bent from being tightened, but this one I don't see that happening. The pop filter also feels like it'll last a while. It's very flexible. The actual arm that you can bend and shape is steel, and the foam mesh on it does a great job at filtering out all those unwanted pops in your audio. And the other foam filter that comes with it, I'm actually using it right now, and that is just another added layer of protection on the pop filter. The shock mount itself is very sturdy. At first it was a little flimsy, but I realized you had to attach almost like this little bungee wire that it has to all these little hooks on it, so that way it's very sturdy. And when it comes to getting rid of vibrations, it does a great job. You won't be able to hear them whenever you're recording your audio. And the microphone itself is built out of some sort of metal. It feels very solid, but it's also really lightweight at the same time. time, so I really wouldn't be worried about it breaking, especially if it's just staying on a mic arm, being used for podcasts, gaming videos, things like that. Now, what could be some negatives of this product? Because this whole time I've been praising it for everything it does great. One thing I did notice with the mic arm is that some of the tightening bolts, they didn't really work unless you really cranked them down, which isn't a big deal, but after a while, it might get over tightened and it might strip, so that way it won't be able to tighten anymore. That could just be my specific model, but it's definitely something to keep in mind. But the only other real negative I can think of is how much information it captures. I'm only putting this on YouTube, and after all the compression and stuff, I can't even utilize all the information that was truly captured by this thing. I still have the full resolution file on my hard drive that I can use for future reference. But my final thoughts of it, it's definitely a fantastic microphone. Everything that comes with it works great, and the price tag of $70, you really can't beat it for all the accessories you get with it. And I'd say in the $50 to $70 price range is definitely the best one that I've used so far. But I'll link this product down below. Huge thank you to the guys over at UHURU for sending this over to me. It's been a pleasure using it, and I'm definitely going to use it for all my gaming videos, which if you guys want to check out my gaming channel, the link will be in the description below. But that's it for me, guys. Thank you all for watching the video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you are new. Peace out.